Joe, let's start off with number one here with Caleb Downs. By far, arguably, that Ohio State has the number one offensive player in the Big Ten, but also the number one defender in the entire Big Ten with Caleb Downs. The transfer out of Alabama had a massive year this year. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's a no-brainer that Caleb Downs is the best defensive player returning in the Big Ten. He was already, as a true freshman, one of the best defensive backs in the country. If he was in this draft class in 2025 as a sophomore, he probably would be a first-round pick. He checks all the boxes that you look for in a premier.
No, there's no probably.
Wait, hold on. Well, safeties typically don't go in the first round. I mean, look at Malachi Starks and the fact that he is slid despite being one of the best prospects in the class. Caleb Downs, though, has freaking amazing instincts. He is a great tackler. He is aggressive. He's fantastic when the ball is in the air, and he's a great overall athlete. He will be a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. I have no doubts about that, being the best safety returning in college football.
81 tackles, 6 PBUs, and 2 interceptions a year ago. He did have the punt return for a touchdown. I think it was against Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, that he took one to the house. Just an overall special athlete. You know, he was on my number one on my list a year ago, if you remember, as top 5 DBs when we did it. I thought he had a great year. His tackles were down 20, but he played 3 extra games. I think that's got a lot to do with he was just surrounded by elite talent all over the place. And he didn't, for once, he just didn't have to do everything. And I feel like, though, in the sense of that he didn't have to do everything, made him more special. So statistically, he was down, but because he didn't have to do everything, he could be more efficient in everything that he did. Joe, in baseball, we talk about guys being a 5-tool player. I feel like when I talk about Caleb Downs, he's that 5-tool DB, or especially a 5-tool safety. Can run, great in coverage, got the interceptions and PBUs. He's a good tackler in space. And, oh, by the way, he'll come down and thump you. Okay, if he needs to be a very big key of the run game, he'll come down and hit you. But then another thing, man, he's just one of those special athletes. Run, jump, explosive. I don't think that there's anything that he doesn't do at a well above average rate. That's the thing for me that I think sets him apart, is he might not be the best overall defender, meaning in the air, like pass defender, but the guy that's a better pass coverage guy, Caleb Downs is head and shoulders a better tackler than him and will come down and run support. That's what starts separating these kind of guys. You know, him and Zakee Wheatley from Penn State that we'll talk about later on in the show. I don't see safeties that come down the box and will tackle you like the both of them do.
Yeah.
Dillon Thieneman will do it, and we'll talk about him as well. You know, coverage can be hit or miss sometimes, but regardless, these old school safeties are the ones that are making plays all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that the way that you framed him is perfect, is that he is super well-rounded. He does a lot of the little things correctly. I think now the question is, by the way, anyone who questioned, there were a lot of people during the year that were like, oh, his production's down, that means he's not that good, which was so unbelievably stupid and lazy. It was so dumb that people were trying to make that argument. The real ball knowers knew that he was just surrounded by so many guys that it's hard to have that same type of tackle production on an insanely deep defense. But now I do wonder, this upcoming year, how does he perform going back to being the number one guy? And this upcoming year, it's still a well-recruited group. I'm not saying that Ohio State's defense isn't great, but he's now the veteran leader, and he is going to be the guy that is going to be the focal point of their defensive success. We already know how he performed when he was at Alabama, when he was their best defensive player. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens this upcoming season for Ohio State.
I got to be real with you. There is a worry for me with Caleb Downs.
What is that?
3 different coordinators in 3 different years. Elite players don't get affected by stuff like that. But at the same time, you're right. He's going to have to be the vocal point. It's not as if that Matt Patricia doesn't know how to utilize really good safeties, right? Like, I mean, he'll probably do a lot of unique things with him. I do believe that there's something to be said, like, hey, how do they utilize him again? This is a brand new defense of how you want to run things. How is he going to be utilized, I think, is a big thing. And look, they didn't ask him. They asked him to be inside the defense. They didn't ask him to be the vocal point of the defense, and he still made plays. There's always something about you having 3 coordinators in 3 years, but he was all over the place. I mean, the top safety in PBUs a year ago. So, look, overall, the number 1 defender in the Big Ten for the both of us.